AI is being put to bad use by bad characters in the internet community. The kind of cases that we get in cyber frauds, most of them are above 60, 65. They are lonely people. Your data can be misused. Your preferences, your medical condition, your location, the way you talk, which devices which food you prefer. All these are traceable nowadays. Deep web and there is a dark web. 100 crore Indians' Aadhaar card and medical condition is in the dark web because of use of social media. There is a communal riots taking place.
AI can also be responsible for creating cold wars or world wars at high levels.
Yeah, government toppling because of social media.
Thank you so much, Dinesh sir, for coming on the podcast. It's been lovely reading about you and insightful as well, whether about your journey or your views on various things happening in the Indian law. Been looking forward to this conversation. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Aftab. Thank you for having me here. It's my pleasure. I always keep on interacting with students, my colleagues in the bar, and it is very interesting phase. Of course, India is passing through interesting phase. There are new technology coming in, which is changing the legal landscape. It's changing the way people interact, the way people do business, and of course, that is impacting the legal world.
Definitely it is. And since you're talking about young people, I don't know whether you have heard about the series or not. This is called, it's an American web series, Suits, if you have heard about it.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So, like, young people like me are like very much fascinated by that world. Like everything happening in, in the corporate world, and how either Harvey Specter or any of those characters are going all around and, fighting law and all that. Not actually fighting law, advocating for law. So when you see things like this and people getting so inspired by that, you personally being someone who is a co-partner in his own firm, is it the reality or the reality is completely different?
Well, what they show in the shows, in the episodes and in the serials is very glamorous, बहुत glamorous है. So it does happen. I mean, it's a glamorous profession. It's a very interesting profession. We see cases from all across spectrum, whether it's business, whether it is immigration, whether it is criminal law. So it's a very interesting profession, no doubt about it. But at the same time, what people don't realize is there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. Today people say, oh, Supreme Court lawyer, he just spends 30 to 60 seconds in the court and he's making lakhs of rupees in that hearing. It's very glamorous to see the way they argue, and nowadays because there is a video recording happening in Supreme Court, the younger generation especially thinks, oh, he spoke just for a minute and his billing was 5 lakh rupees in 1 minute. But what people don't realize, behind this glamour is there is a lot of hard work that lawyers have to do. In 1 minute, how do you get the attention of the judge? In 1 minute, there is a preparation of hours and hours that goes into that.
Okay, so judge avoids you sometimes?
The judge asks you very difficult questions.
Yeah, definitely.
So you should be experienced enough. You should have worked hard on the case. You just can't in 1 minute explain it to him. Okay, so he doesn't have time, especially I'm talking about Supreme Court practice, where you don't get much time to convince the Honorable Court about your case. So it looks very glamorous, as you say, in the serials and in the movies, but there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. How you cross-examine a witness, it looks very easy. I can ask these questions, but no. So we have to tell the young generation, and in fact our clients also. Our clients think it is just a miracle. It's a very easy thing. And why should we pay so much? But there's a lot of experience. There's a lot of number of hours that the lawyer has to spend alone studying things. And unfortunately, that's not happening. People look at the glamour side of the serials like Suit, and they come to conclusion, oh, what a glamorous life. Let's go and into doing only law. But no, law is just there's only 5% glamorous and 95% of the hard work that needs to be done behind it.
Yeah, and even I think people get very furious when they hear on these podcasts when a lawyer is telling that how much usually a Supreme Court lawyer earns and how much money they are having. Even there was a very viral video
Yes.
on internet which was showcasing the Supreme Court's car parking actually.
Right.
Like there were like all high-end cars present there, so people also get furious by that also.
Correct. Yeah, there is a viral of the Supreme Court, one of the advocates, his fees, which is, in 10 lakh rupees, 11 lakh rupees, and he's spending 1 minute. But no, look at the hard work that he has done all over, and look at the experience that person has. Maybe he's speaking for 1 minute, but that 1 minute is backed by 50 years of experience that he has.
Definitely.
You should say 50 years plus 1 minute that he is charging for it. So it is a profession where you can make a lot of money, provided you work hard, you are humble also. Okay, your attitude matters a lot. Okay, I mean, I'm a lawyer or I'm a judge. If you have an attitude, you're bound to fail very soon, because you have to understand your clients. You have to understand theirs. Sometimes you have to tell them some harsh things. And only the person who has experience would be able to tell them. I say no to many clients. No, you can't do it. Don't do it. Though they are giving us money, don't do it. Okay. So it is a profession where I think people should be ready to sacrifice also. There is a lot of pro bono work. There is a lot of injustice that you see. As a lawyer, you see so many injustices. In a day, you will find cases where there has been an injustice done. Somebody's son got beaten up or even killed. Nothing is happening. So how do you manage all that? And you're not paid. You're not supposed to get money from them. How do you inculcate that habit of doing pro bono work, which is, I think, very important in this profession that we have. The younger generation especially, and I have a lot of hopes from them that they will be able to understand, because they've grown up in this current world with a lot of injustice, with a lot of technology, with a lot of scams, with a lot of frauds happening. The younger generation would be much more better equipped to handle these kind of things.
And speaking about technology, when you say technology in current time, AI is obviously there. So obviously we have a Copyright Act in India which sort of explicitly says this thing that anything which is like a direct copy of any movie or any particular intellectual property or person is completely against law, and there can be legal repercussions for that. But still, when we just go on social media, I'm not even talking about high level scams, even on social media, either politician or Bollywood people or film from entertainment fraternity, you see them, their deep fakes are being spread like hell. So why is that? Why there is no regulation on such thing if it is becoming, becoming big at such a large scale?
There are regulations. Our Information Technology Act 2000, Section 65A and 65B, if we look at it, there are remedies there. There are remedies in our criminal laws, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which has been passed recently. Provisions like cheating, breach of trust. You can impersonation, because a lot of these deep fakes are doing copying of actors and politicians, and it is very difficult to make out who has done it. And on top of that, the problem is the social media companies have become so powerful, they can tell government, oh, we're not sharing the data with you. Who actually made this deep fake? Right? Was it made on a WhatsApp or a Facebook platform or an Apple device? The footprint already exists, but somehow I would say that it's very difficult to detect it, first of all. Secondly, it's very easy to do it, You can take some classes in AI for not even a week, and you'll be able to make a movie, or you'll be able to make a song and plagiarize it. You can plagiarize the whole book itself. So again, I'm sure these traditional laws exist, but government would have to come out with some policies, some regulations, to actually see that how these are not misused.
So, Jesse, we are talking about AI. So, when you actually go into the tech of it, I really want to understand from you that how are these AI-driven scams are happening with people, right? We are obviously getting fishy messages, whether from SMSs or mails or anything like that. Like, what is the main reason that I would say, acceptance rate of this is very high? Like, if someone using AI tech is approaching a random person, them doing something malicious is very high in comparison to a random person without any tech doing it. Why is that?
Mainly because of one or two reasons. AI can speak naturally. So if a human operator, say for example, a human operator is making calls and trying to scam people, he can do it, say 20 calls a day, 25 calls a day, and see who are the people who can be scammed. If you use AI in calling people, AI will use a natural language and understand whether he is interested, what kind of profile it is. They'll be able to speak to that person. So the initial conversation that is done with the person, okay, I'm calling from this place, would you be interested in this product, or giving you some information. Now you will realize that a lot of these calls are coming, human beings are not calling you, but AI is calling you. And if you respond something like, no, I'm not interested, so the AI will be able to understand that. Okay, and they say, why aren't you interested? I'm giving you this offer on a credit card.
This is happening on voice call?
This is happening on voice call. So the person will, there is no human. Now, instead of 20 calls, a machine is calling 20,000 calls a day. And it is able to, because it is able to understand whether it's a credit card fraud or any other fraud that they have thought of, SMS frauds. So the volume is increasing, and AI, you are not able to know whether it's a human or whether it's a machine speaking to you. So the gravity of this is again increasing, and one of the things is even deepfake is nothing but an AI in use. So when somebody makes a deepfake, that person's actually the posture of that person, the lip movement of that person is captured, and you can make any kind of words that are there. So these kind of the volume of that will keep on increasing. You can make deep fakes of anyone, and people get sometimes threatened on it. Oh, I didn't even do it, or maybe I did it when I was drunk. So they become so natural. So they keep on, once you get threatened, you sometimes pay also. Okay. So a lot of these calls, sometimes a video call would come to you, and they just capture your eyes movement, the facial expressions, the way you speak. So all that is captured by AI, and then that person's video is made. Okay. Once that video is made, then that person is vulnerable to blackmail. Okay, we receive these kind of cases pretty often, and they say, oh, I have already spent like 1.5 lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees I have given to the blackmailer. And in fact, in one of the cases, I actually went to the cyber cell and said, look, you have the number with you, you have the bank account where the money was paid, you have a photo of that person who was actually blackmailing. Why don't you take any action? So I asked the IO, investigating officer. He said, look, he showed me around 25 people sitting, waiting. He said, look at and this is Delhi cyber cell I am talking about.
What they said? Like
25 people with similar complaints. Look at the volume of the how can one officer would do all the investigations? Okay. So the bandwidth is going to be choked. for even the law enforcement to take any action. Okay, because and all of these scams are taking somewhere in India or even abroad. So the law enforcement here is absolutely they have their limitations.
But AI is like very expensive tech. If you see it like from a close perspective, someone who studies AI would relate that it takes a lot of money, especially in current time, to train AI to all these models. Obviously, personalization has a role to play here. But where is this money coming from? Just this seems like drug peddling or something that you cannot stop it because some point government is also involved at some point. Even security forces are also involved.
Right.
So is that happening with AI also?
Yes, there is a lot of money. Money is coming into AI from legitimate sources also, who wants to do good with AI.
Yeah.
There are a lot of benefits that you can get from healthcare to legal system to your media, marketing, advertisements, where it will help you. But there are evils that it's like you rightly said, drugs. Pharmaceutical drugs are will benefit you, but there may be other drugs which will harm you. But the way to make it may be the same thing. So AI is being put to bad use by bad characters in the internet community, and the law enforcement, I would say, is a step behind, if not multiple step behind what is happening. Look at the way the money is being transacted in cryptos. So how would the law enforcement come to know that the money that has been gathered here in India would actually land up somewhere in Dubai or outside India using cryptocurrencies?
They can't track it?
They can't track it. Of course they can't track it. Because everything, these wallets that are there, wallets would convert your rupees into a crypto. And crypto money is used everywhere in the world. So how will the law enforcement actually catch all this? Is very interesting battle between benefits of AI and the evils of AI that is taking place right now. I would say that we have to be very cautious as an individual, whether it's your bank account, whether your devices, whether you put your photographs on social media. Keep on. So that is again a risk that people are doing in putting their photographs in social media.
Not sure about Indian numbers, but with US, it is like US Federal Trade Commission, mentioned this in their report that $8.8 billion of rupees have been lost with multiple victims with this AI thing in the year of 2022. They have lost it to scammers and all.
Right.
So and it's happening there also. So what you can imagine in India, like not comparing India and US, but obviously when you see literacy rate and all of that, so people in India are more vulnerable to, I think, AI tech.
Absolutely. And many of these scamsters, the figure that you mentioned, are not necessarily in US or in India. They can be anywhere in the globe. So these scams are taking place. So the use of AI is international. Somebody sitting in China, Vietnam, Hong Kong could be scamming the US citizens. Especially my experience is, and the kind of cases that we get in cyber frauds, most of them are above 60, 65. They are lonely people. Especially that happens in countries like US, where the population is very scarce. So senior citizens are vulnerable. They need somebody to just chat, and they need and they need help on each thing. Sometimes their computer gets stuck, so they call up. They land up in the AI scam. This has happened to one of our clients, victims in US. They landed up actually in a scam, which was being run from somewhere in Mehroli here in India. So we somehow got into picture, and this is also like AI scammed to senior citizens. So again, I mean, this age group is very vulnerable because they are lonely. Maybe the children are not living with them. And they need somebody to chat, and they need help also, sometimes with their computers, sometimes with their refrigerator. This is where they get into the trap of the scamsters.
And how are WhatsApp, Skype, or Zoom scams working? I really would like to know about that.
Well, it's very easy to connect through WhatsApp, Telegram, and Zoom with people, and there is international scam. Especially, they take your pictures. You know, you can connect through videos, so they will connect through videos. They will lure you. Again, I'm talking of the senior citizens. They will lure you into some conversation, which may later on turn into, they will again, at the background, they are taking your pictures. And then they will try to fraud you. They can put your picture in social media. In one of the cases, is actually again a senior citizen, our neighbor. On WhatsApp, he was defrauded by this girl who just started chatting with him, and after some time, he got a call that I'm from the police. Actually, the police visited also. Some fake police visited his house also, and he got defrauded of 2 lakh rupees or something. Then I had to tell him, no, don't give any further money, just a scam. So he got a call, okay, I'm from the police and I recorded you. This is your recording, I will put on the social media.
And his recording was actually that girl who was...
Yeah, who had called, and he was chatting with that girl for trying to help her. But the way the AI used, the deepfake was used, it looked like, he was having affection with her.
This was a fake girl, basically.
No, the girl was real, but the video that emerged finally was a fake one.
Okay, his video.
Yeah, his video along with the girl, because it was a deep fake. So he got threatened, though some of the sentences he had said, but not entirely. Because the AI would actually capture those sentences. She wanted him to speak those sentences so that the AI engine can actually imitate his expression so that she can blackmail further. And meantime, this gang had even taken his Facebook friends' contact information, and they were trying to. They said that they will give it to his contacts, his family, and as I said, one of the fake police person even visited their house. So it's a really scary when especially the senior citizens have to go through this trauma.
Yeah.
And then they keep on repenting. I had to. So once he came to me, first thing I said, don't do anything. Okay. Second, we went to cyber cell. We gave them a legal. So whatever contacts we had, I had to give them a legal notice back that you have committed this scam. Of course, in that case also, he is still not recovered his money. So it has to be extremely careful these days whom you are speaking to, and don't trust, as they say.
Obviously.
Yeah, you don't have to trust these calls that are happening.
Yeah.
And especially the old people who are there living alone, I would advise them to avoid. Give it to someone whom they trust, and they should start communicating, like their children or some neighbor, or even a maid. They can give it to her, and she just verifies it. But as I said, these frauds are increasing. We as lawyers are bombarded with these kind of cases now. It's a bad thing, as good for us as a business, also because we are not now confined to India. We are confined to fraud happening in US or a European country.
Your firm?
Sorry?
Your firm, like you're in talks with partners from there as well, you're saying that?
Yeah, so for example, a victim is in Europe, but it looks like the IP address is from India. So they would engage us to contact the law enforcement in India. So the as a lawyer, you get international clients now. Okay, you're not confined to India because this AI has been used and a victim may be anywhere in the world. Okay, so from perhaps professional point of view and business point of view, it may be a good thing, but from community and society, and especially the faith in the internet, it is diminishing. You don't like to transact now anymore on the net. It's become necessity, but then There are also scams. There are wallet scams happening, as you know. There are crypto frauds that are happening. All that is technology-based frauds, and interestingly, it doesn't have boundaries.
What is the most wildest crime or incident you personally faced where, just like you said, the IP address gets changed? The fraud is happening in some other country, but IP address is of India.
Yeah.
Did something like this happen to you, like that you remember?
Oh yeah. So recently, only one of the victims who was in US, old couple, they were defrauded, and I just told you about it. And these people are in Mehroli actually, and they used certain technology to. That old couple actually, their laptop was not working, and they searched for it, a technician nearby
On internet.
And that technician number that they got because of the search engine work that they had done, again using an AI, so their site came up. There was a US number that they had dialed, and when they dialed a US number, it actually went to someone in Mehroli. And it is, so there was this gang was in Mehroli, Kolkata, Vietnam, Hong Kong, they were all there. So turn by turn, they would call up that couple, and somehow they say that your money is not secure, and they transferred that money to a bank in Thailand just to keep it secure. First, they repaired their laptop remotely. Then they build the confidence. Then they say, oh, your password is on the internet. Then they transfer the money to a bank in Thailand. From Thailand, it came to India. And it was not a small amount. It was like more than $1 million that they were scammed with. And but there's no trace of money. Finally, we had to approach the embassy. We had to approach the FBI to take a help.
Different countries.
Of different countries.
That must be really tough.
Yeah, the Thailand bank we are now approaching because the money was there. So it's an international crime. My team is very busy in this case, still is busy in the case. Fortunately, the scamsters were arrested. Again, because of, I don't know what, they got a bail also now. They are outside, so the victims are very angry on this. But they are right now outside. But yeah, they were arrested. They were in jail for more than 1 year. But money is still untraceable. Case will go on. Of course, the case will go on for a longer time. So these kind of cases, this is just one of the cases. We keep on getting these. As I said, this old person who is a neighbor of ours, he got defrauded. Then a vice president of a very big Fortune 100 company, he got blackmailed into another like a scam by a girl. So that is, again, I say a lot of these scams happen because you get lured into things. You get lured into easy money or something. So scamsters take advantage of that. So we have to be, again, as I said, it's an interesting world. It has no boundaries. The way the money is moving is no constraint nowadays. No RBI comes into picture, no bank comes into picture, but you can move the money from one country to another. But as a lawyer, there is a lot of pressure of work, and you see a lot of injustice happening. Many of the times we can't get the relief for the victim. And the best thing is, I always advise people just to, and education is the best thing, I think. And we have to educate, and the government has to take care how the education,
I would like to discuss this later on in the conversation. But before that, I have an interesting question here. Like Gen AI or generative AI, when you see, various use cases of it, and especially negative use cases like which these scamsters are doing or fraudsters are doing, then you see that this is like really bad. But there are some people who are making good things out of it. They are like collaborating with government. Even government itself sometimes promote that, this is something that we can even use for ourselves.
Right, absolutely.
So, do you think there can never be like a legal ban on this thing, but a regulation that can be there?
It has to be regulated. Especially, I would say, the companies who are working in AI needs to be more transparent, right? It's like when you make a drug, pharmaceutical drug, you are regulated by the Drug Controller of India. So METI, which is Ministry of Electronic and Information Technology, is already working on a policy. I don't know how the regulator will look like a few months or a year down the line on AI, but it's a need because these things can be misused completely. Your data can be misused. Your preferences, your medical condition, your location, the way you talk, which devices which food you prefer, all these are traceable nowadays. Okay.
Yeah.
There is so they say there is a deep web and there is a dark web. Okay. So deep web is of course, which even Google, if you type keywords and type my name Dinesh Jotwani, Google will give you certain information, but that's only 5% of the information. But Dinesh Jotwani must have used Uber or Zomato to order, and it's somewhere lying on the internet, digital footprint, as they say, which can be traced, and intelligently scamsters can use it to see Dinesh was here, he was using Uber or he was using Ola, he went from this location to this location and he ordered this food. He was so all that information from the dark web, from the deep web, can be taken, and the dark web is still illegal. The dark web consists of my financial information also. Okay, so the income tax records. That Aadhaar data got leaked. So somebody in the dark web has that. So once you have a Aadhaar card, then you have a PAN card, then you have, because all are linked, you have an income tax, you have a bank details which can be taken out.
Also, is government some involved in it? Because there was, if you remember, during the time of COVID, there was this app Arogya Setu.
Yeah.
So that actually required you to submit your Aadhaar card and all official details. But now it's not being used at all.
Right.
So where is all of that data? Right?
COVID data.
You never know.
That's in the dark web. That's what I said. Dark web is the illegal web which the scamsters have access. They have tools, they can access this data. So if 100 crore Indians' Aadhaar card and medical condition is in the dark web, so people know about our bank details, they know about our PAN card, they know financial status. So scamsters are using this. And how do you actually make it intelligent at the end of the day? This is where the AI comes into picture.
Yes.
These tools are using artificial intelligence to actually profile you. And they will say, oh, this is not worth spending time on. Oh, this person did a transaction of 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs. He must have money in the bank. And I have his mobile number, because all Aadhaar is linked to mobile number. I have his financial status, I have his cell number, I have his location. Why not to scam this person? Okay. So the meaningful information about a person and his profile can be used using AI and its tools that are available. I don't want to name the tools, but yes, as a lawyer, we come across many companies who say, okay, if you have a client, why don't you try to tell them about using this tool, which are getting information from the darker web and providing meaningful results for their clients. So it's Aftab, you're right. I mean, the use of all these AI and scamsters are a little step ahead of us.
And is this like very expensive, or is this not? Like the whole idea is just to get in touch with the right POC here, so that you have access to the people. So how does this work actually? You getting data of millions of people on dark web?
I don't know. I'd say it's expensive. It's expensive. So I can't name the tools because of the confidentiality we have with them. But yeah, these are pretty expensive. There was one tool they came to us, our law firm, and said it's 5,000 euros a year subscription, which is almost like 5 lakh rupees.
This is one of the tools.
Yeah, so they come out, and most of these tools are somewhere originating from African countries or Chinese companies who, or Israel is pretty forward in that. But yeah, I would say the clients, they're looking for HNIs, high network individuals who can afford them to get information. So there's somebody HNI getting through a divorce proceeding, right? He wants to know about the assets of his her husband or the wife, so they can use these kind of tools to know, okay, I can ask for this maintenance or an alimony in the court, and I can actually say, oh look, these are the assets that my husband has or my wife has. This is where my husband is working. That is what his income is. So all the data which is private data is actually can be culled out of this dark web and given to individuals, to governments, and misused, and used in the court proceedings. Though there are limitations, but yeah, you could provide information on the assets of your partner. So how do you handle this? There is, as you rightly said, there is good advantage of AI that we should leverage. All of us should leverage. But there is a darker side. We have to be very careful on that. Problem is, darker side is international. So if there is a rogue country, I don't want to name some rogue countries, but there are rogue countries.
Rogue countries
means rough countries who promote this kind of culture, illegal culture. So you would really face a lot of problem because they have all the information.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah. And even we were earlier talking that how there are profiles that go on Facebook and WhatsApp, and they actually text or call people and they do all of this. But Facebook, WhatsApp are like international corporates where there is like so many things. Aapka two-factor authorization hai. You have to like give your phone number, it needs to be verified, your address, everything. There is like a set process which verifies that you are a human being. Then how are these scamsters like putting in fake profiles and like disseminating it across the spectrum and doing these scams?
I don't know if you know, on Skype for $10 or $15 you can get a phone number of any country you want, from US to Argentina to 15. You pay $15 a month, so you can get an SMS on those numbers which you have paid for. Okay, so to answer you, these are big companies. I know they take a lot of precaution, but even as I said, the scamsters are even smarter. These companies like Facebook and WhatsApp, Instagram, they are bigger than a country in terms of their subscription. So they know much more, and they are becoming more powerful. Day by day, they are becoming much more powerful. The government of a country has power in terms of their military. Okay, they can protect their borders. But these companies know the people of the so nowadays they are saying they are powerful than the government of a country because they have all the information about their citizens. Okay, they know what the citizens are eating, what they are doing, whether they are educated. They have much more information, and they can misuse it. There is a case study, and perhaps I can share it with you later, where it has been alleged that because of use of these social media, there is a communal riots taking place. They would, so if I like a particular community or I dislike a particular community, the AI engine would automatically start showing me
I think that's happening on X or
I don't want to name the particular social media, but yes, it has caused riots in Middle East. It has caused riots in Africa because it knows your taste. Okay.
So basically AI can, if we can like roughly put this, AI can also be responsible for creating cold wars or world wars at high levels.
Yeah, government toppling because of social media, right? Government toppling and social media, of course, is, I would say, 50-60%. And now with AI, use of AI, the AI would actually fuel the misuse of social media. Okay, because if I'm so there have been any complaints also. If I'm talking to you or if I'm talking to my wife, they are listening. The Facebook is listening, the Google is listening, your Apple instrument is listening, and they may put it to good use, that saying, oh, okay, if I am talking about Dubai hotels, so my device is listening to me, and they would start showing me the Dubai ads to me.
That happens.
That happens, right?
Yeah.
So I have not searched on the Google, but I'm just talking to you on Dubai, on how to visit Dubai or how to go to Afghanistan. And next day I see the ad there on my Apple device. So does that mean they are listening to us? And if they are listening, maybe it's a good use. But look at the evils of this. They can actually, it can be an havoc on this.
Definitely.
Right.
And even there was this Telegram app scam that happened, which led to release of this NEET UG paper, which was a whole another level of controversy. It went to Supreme Court as well, and there was a lot of hue and cry from the side of students and teachers as well. So government is also now trying to ban this app and something. So I have a question here, if government decides to take control of this particular situation, are they also having the authority to see encrypted messages? As in all the messages that were done with particular people, which were very private, can government access them also?
So that's a very good question, and there's always a battle between social media companies and government. Not only government of India but globally also, because what happens if there's a terrorist attack and WhatsApp says, oh, I can't share my data because of data privacy. That's not done. So there is a way. What the social media company says, you have to have a court order to get the information about something. But it has, it may not directly give law enforcement the access to it. It's just because there is an FIR against somebody. Will WhatsApp give all the information of your WhatsApp? And that too from very beginning till now. WhatsApp says, no, I will not give. These are encrypted, and I'm not going to first of all share my encryption keys with the government. In fact, they would say, I would leave the country. Telegram will say, I will leave the country, but I'm not going to share my encryption code with the government of India.
I think that's what's happening in America with TikTok.
Correct.
They want to buy it. They want to take the whole Chinese into US hands.
Correct. So there are laws, trade secret laws, which protect their encryption, which protect their code, which we are okay with if it is put to good use. But what if the laws in India, the Evidence Act says that if you have information about a crime, if I see a crime happening outside on the road, I have to report to the police. It's mandatory. If I see a murder happening, if I see a rape happening, and I am witness to it, I have to report mandatorily. So why doesn't WhatsApp report if it knows about a crime that has happened on WhatsApp? So these are big policy issues and challenges which the government of India and the social media company would have to jointly work together something.
And what is the role of celebrity here, right? Because these are those people who are just there for the brand value. But at the end, they end up in situations where they are being arrested, and you yourself handle a very big, high-profile celebrity. So what's the whole scenario here?
Well, so our defense is that the celebrity actually promoted he promoted that app which is doing a legitimate business. Later on, it turns out that Mahadev app is doing illegal thing. A celebrity cannot be hauled up for that. So we do celebrity contracts also. So we definitely put in a clause there that you have to declare that you are legitimate or not. But sometimes, the enforcement directorate goes overboard, and says, no, you must be aware that they will do any illegal things, and so you are also liable for it. So I don't want to name the celebrities or the app right now, but yes, the things are on the borderline right now. Okay, if the celebrity knew that what the company, the product that it is endorsing, is illegal in the market, then that celebrity can be hauled up. But if he is not aware, the celebrity is unaware of the fact that there is also a dark side of the company that they will be using in future. So they get, so celebrity is not liable for that. They are just endorsing a product which is a legitimate product. And then later on the company goes bankrupt, does illegal things. We know about Mahadev app case. So if it turns out that they're doing, then celebrity is the person who is endorsing the ad is not liable for it. It's like saying that, oh, lawyers are liable. No, lawyers have to defend their clients. We defend our clients even if they have done crime, right? We have to defend them. So you can't say that you can't, just because he's done a crime, a lawyer, cannot engage a lawyer.
Does your conscience come in between?
It does. In heinous crime, it does. We know the RG hospital case in Kolkata. Our bar actually passed a resolution. Nobody is going to represent the accused. In Nirbhaya case, our bar, so our conscience actually.
Indian bar?
The bar, the local bar association. So, in Nirbhaya case, our bar association passed a resolution saying that nobody will represent. It's a heinous crime. So our conscience does, it raises a lot of questions on us. But you have to also look at the Constitution provides a right to every accused to be represented by a lawyer. So there is a legal side of it also. So lawyers have to represent, even if he is a terrorist, he has killed people, right? We know what happened in Mumbai case, where they were provided legal aid by the government itself, okay, so that they can defend themselves. So our conscience does hurt, but at the same time, they have to be represented fairly. All the accused needs to be represented fairly. Maybe even the accused don't know that whether it's right or wrong. So they have to be informed about it.
Even in West Bengal, they passed very recently this particular bill in their legislative assembly, that is Aparajit Women and Child Bill, which basically governs the whole thing around rape and rape laws. So this is a very sensitive topic, especially in the current time. Obviously, what happened in Kolkata is horrific. Things like this should obviously be condemned. But before that, there have been some segments in society which have used rape laws or the whole thing about them being a woman in a very wrong way, right? So they have used it in that sense to get money or get, good amount of fortune for themselves by just telling the person that I want a divorce or something, right? So how do you see these things?
Yeah, the Aparajita bill that has been placed in the assembly in Kolkata is a knee-jerk reaction. We have to see, the courts will later on see whether this bill or the act, once it becomes an act, is actually in compliance with the Constitution of India. So the Supreme Court has power to strike down its provisions if it is not in consonance. So it has certain good points where it talks about gang rape and punishment there. But for a simple rape, when there is a death punishment, and you're right, there are cases coming where a woman would normally, just to take the revenge, may file a false rape case. What happens in that cases, and in those kind of cases, a death penalty would be too high. On the contrary, the court might be lenient. They may say, oh, death penalty for this, they may acquit the accused. So even if there is one simple benefit of doubt that arises in the court's mind, they will acquit because they don't want death penalty on that. If it was 7 years, 5 years, the court would convict. Okay, yeah, he deserves it. Whereas, so there is negative side also to this kind of a bill, where women first of all can misuse. Their courts might like to, if such a harsh punishment, it's like somebody passing a red light and you say, oh, 7 years imprisonment. So the court would be lenient on that person who is passing a traffic light. So we have to see, we have to balance it. The current laws are strict enough. Just to make them more strict won't reduce the rapes in this country. And the other aspect is just the allegation of rapes. Anybody can allege a rape against his or her partner. Okay, that I was lured. So I think this bill needs a little more consideration. They have increased the term of sentence on conviction, but not all kind of rape. Gang rape is a good example where you say, oh, okay, if there is a gang rape happening of a woman, then there must be a lot of force in this. But what about rapes which are saying, a girl false promise of marriage? Any girl can say, I was given a false promise of marriage. And if you see the new Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, it talks about rape even in a situation where there is a promotion of an employee, false impression about promotion of a woman. So any employee can now say, okay, I was not promoted, I was given a hope for promoted, and then I had a intercourse with my colleague or a boss, and it becomes a rape case. So on one hand, you are diluting the definition of rape. On the other hand, you are increasing the punishment of sentence to life imprisonment or to the death penalty. So the courts, thankfully the courts in India have been very conscious of this fact. Because of the kind of allegations that are coming. They grant the bail, of course, but why to, put a person for 7 years or 10 years of trial, which happens in a day?
So this is like a two-edged sword. But what is the pragmatic way to deal with this, if you see it from a perspective that you are someone who has seen these things very closely?
I think first of all, what's happening is in case of allegation of rape, there has to be a proper investigation. Unfortunately, the trend that is whenever the woman files a complaint, at least the police immediately files a rape case. They don't investigate, they just put in an FIR, which tarnishes the image of the accused. So we also deal with cases where these are false rape. There are genuine cases of rape that happen. And I'm very much pro women in these kind of matters where there should be harsh punishment for a rape. But how do you define a rape is again, or the procedure where the rape FIR is filed, that needs to be looked into, and maybe by some central government, maybe Ministry of Home Affairs, look into the procedures of what is happening. We don't want our boys also to get suffered because of the on one side the definition of rape being diluted. Anyone can file a case, an employee can file, a girlfriend can file, wife can file against husband, marital rape. This is dilution happening there at that. So some kind of a procedure guideline. And I'm thankful to Indian courts. We have a whole kind of judgments which tell you when it is not a rape. So we use that a lot. So there will be balance, I'm sure, with these new provisions that are there by West Bengal government or the central government enacting. Courts will balance it out, but it is going to take time for courts to come out with newer judgments based on new act and new bills that have been passed recently.
Almost moving towards the conclusion of this conversation, right? So we talked about a lot of things, especially revolving around AI, deepfakes, scams, and everything going on there, whether it's the senior citizens being scammed or whether it's a wealthy person being scammed, right? There are too many aspects of it, right? But what is the pragmatic way to prevent this, right? You're not in that situation where you're like, now money is gone. Now I have to like explore options for me, either I should go to police or law enforcement agencies and all. What are the prevention tips that you would give to everyone?
Prevention tips would be, of course, number one, not to be too trusting on unknown phone calls or conversations that are happening on the net. The second point is, if someone is threatening you, don't get blackmailed. Don't give him money initially. So you may think, okay, oh, I'm just giving 50,000 rupees and that will save me with lot of trouble. That's not going to happen. The moment you give 50,000, he's going to ask another 50,000 or 1 lakh rupees from you, depending on your capacity. So at first instance, if someone is threatening you or asking for a money, don't don't get threatened by that. And third thing I will say is, of course, report to the law enforcement immediately. The numbers that you, or the social media account, just report it to there are cyber cells that the government of India has created. There is Ministry of Home Affairs cyber portal. You can just upload your complaint and action will be taken there. And fourth, I think this is more of a social message than a legal message. Take care of elders. Okay, be in touch with your mother, father, because they are lonely, right? You may be.
They are more prone to this.
They are much more prone. So as a community, I would say take care of elders. Most of the scams, I'll say 70-80% are happening. If you're above 55, you're ailing, you have some medical conditions, they want to talk to you. So be more interactive towards your family, I would say. So that's the social message, but yes, it is very important for all of us. We are living in very interesting world. Okay, and with no boundaries, no currencies, and at risk. We are at a risk right now. And I would advise everyone to be conscious and, be well in life, do well in life.
I think that's a very good message to end this conversation on. This was like really insightful for me, especially the AI part of it and the scam part of it. Really got to know so many different things. I hope you had a great time too.
Oh yeah, same. I enjoyed a lot. Yeah.
It was lovely having you over, Dinesh. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Aftab. I really enjoyed my conversation too. Thank you so much.